The ancient rivalry between Michigan and Michigan State once again takes to the field, but this time it's on the virtual battlefield in Call of Duty. For the first time ever, both of these teams facing off inside of the CCL. We had the debut for Michigan State inside of the CCL already, but for Michigan, this is the first time the Blue will be inside of the CCL, so first opportunity for us to get to see what they have to bring to the table. More importantly, though, my name is McCormill, with myself is Seymour, and we have something that I have to go ahead and tell you guys. I have never been more excited for a CCL match between two unknown teams in my life.
I mean, you say that because neither of us have seen this, like these teams play. I mean, this is a debut basically in the CCL for these teams. Well, MSU have played yesterday. So this is debut week for these two teams, in fact. So this is going to be a big one. Two big unknown factors when it comes to esports. But like you said, this is ancient history when it comes to college traditional sports.
Yeah, absolutely. In Michigan, well, overall, they have in recent years, at least for football standards, taken Michigan State's record and kind of smushed it into the dirt a little bit. But last 2 years, 2022, 2021 as well, Michigan State had the upper hand. 2022 was a big upset, technically an upset there inside of this last year because obviously it was number 8 versus number 6. But at the same time, we're talking about Call of Duty here. We can talk of football as much as we want to, but with the association of the rivalry comes a bit of ego. And, well, of course, that's what you're going to be playing for with your pride when you're facing off against a school that, well, historically has been your arch nemesis for as long as you can remember.
I mean, I know you can talk about football as long as you want, but I can't talk about football as long as you can here. But what we can talk about are the stats that we're about to see. So let's take a look at the head-to-head between Michigan Esports and Michigan State COD, because Michigan State COD, they already played this week, and it didn't go the way they hoped to. The season record being 0-1 off the first day, 0-2 in Hardpoint, 0-1 in Search. That means they got 3-0'd yesterday. So when you're Michigan Esports, you're kind of licking your lips. You got your hands kind of up and down right there. And you're excited for this match.
Absolutely. And if you're Michigan at the same time, yeah, you're licking your chops a bit. You're saying, oh, this is fresh prey for us to go ahead and feast upon, put them down to 0-2, and of course take the first game ever between both of these two teams inside of the CCL. But that's a big but, because for Michigan State, sure, you lose one series, but that doesn't mean that the side of Michigan isn't just as, I guess, frail as this Michigan State roster. So will we potentially see a game where Michigan is able to take Michigan State on and beat them in another 3-0? Absolutely. It's very possible, just based on one game statistics that we already see. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that Michigan State isn't going to give them a run for their money. We don't know how close the couple of games were either. That Hardpoint could have been 250-240, and the Search and Destroyers could have been 6-5. We just don't know that. It could have been a crazy 3-0, or it could have been an absolute smackdown.
An absolute smackdown, looking to turn around right now. So let's take a look at our home team, Michigan Esports, as we are going to be looking at the fielded roster of this squad. Player number 1, Decim, Blame, Lord Memory, and Talon coming together to form this Michigan Esports team and form their debut today in the College Call of Duty League season number 4. This is going to be a big one. We don't know anything about these players, as, like I said, it's not just their debut here, but it's a debut for us to witness them, Corn. And I'm excited for that. This is the one thing I like about the start of the year, is that we get to build these team stories.
Yeah, that's kind of what these beginning matches are for every single team, because, we can assume all we want to about previous statistics. We can talk about different players that might have notable names and, of course, a long resume, but that doesn't mean that they're going to necessarily come out and do exactly what they think, or we think they're going to be able to do. And this is another story with Michigan State here in Michigan. Because you're a brand new team coming into the CCL, everybody's going to be a bit weary about what you're going to be able to bring to the table. And of course, for Michigan, we have yet to see anything from them, but for Michigan State, yeah, it sucks. You lose your first match, you lose it in a 3-manner, and yeah, nobody wants to start like that. And again, we were just talking about how important it is to actually win early and often in the season, but again, it's not the end of the road just yet. Beating Michigan here would be huge for Michigan State, but as we take a look at their roster, Breezy, Mikey, Skinjet, and of course, Cardiac, all 4 of those players lost together, but they look to go ahead and win together as a collective group. Best out their rival for the first time.
So I just got some insider info, Corn, that you might want to know. And
Please.
That 0-3 might not have been as close as we're kind of hoping it would have been close. And they played up against Davenport. I want to give a big shout out for Pally Boy, you know, the GOAT of stats, for kind of shooting me this message. But Michigan State lost at Davenport. Tough. 250-77, 6-2, 250-124. Those are not the stats I was hoping for in this one, you know, against Davenport. I know Davenport's a good team as well, so, you know, it's nothing to say about this squad. They lost to a good team, but that is not the start of CCL you want. Now, heading into this, there is definitely an overarching story going up against Michigan Esports that this is your rival team now. So you want to come out with the fire, and you need to turn it around.
I mean, hell, who's to say that this Michigan roster wouldn't have lost to the same credence that we saw Michigan State do? So, again, I weigh a lot on statistics, but at the same time, I don't. And that's, you know, just the life you have to live when you're looking at teams who have only played one or no games. But overall, Berlin, Tuscan, double dose of Bocage to go the distance if we need to get to a 4-5. If it's anything like Michigan State's last series, well, we won't need to see Bocage, which is obviously a great sign. But I joke. Michigan State, you look to go ahead, you'll look to lock down the hard point, and well, from just the statistics you read me off, Colin, it looks like that would be the best opportunity Michigan has to go ahead and find the first nail in the coffin for Michigan State.
Let's talk a little bit about Berlin. You know, the fact that we don't know either of the teams, we do know a little bit about this map. And in hindsight, the start of it definitely going to be a lot scrappier than the end of it, as this first hill that you can see us pan through right now in the offices is going to be the middleman between both spawns right off the bat between both teams. And rotating over that hill too is definitely going to be a big focus. But if you do have those train spawns off the start, you can put that pressure as much as you want. You just got to make sure that towards the end of it, you're not putting too much pressure on it. You want to make sure you have those rotations on in. Just like Gavitu, this is a pretty large map on scale, so you need to make sure that you are keeping your head or your eye on the time for these hard points and rotating accordingly.
With new teams comes potentially new spectators, so welcome here. If this is your first time visiting us for the CCL, we have 2 streams going on right now. With the Alpha, this is the Bravo stream. However, at the bottom of the screen, you can see the little footnote there. It says Hardpoint. Reads the description of how you win the game and what the most important objective is inside of the game we call Hardpoint. For most of you, I said this beforehand in our last series, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about, and this isn't going to sound like gibberish to you, but, of course, with the new school again, as I said beforehand, there are people that want to tune in for the first time, maybe watch their friends, don't know what's going on. So, for those of you just joining us, please, whenever we have these intro cinematics, look to the bottom of the screen if you're confused on what map and or mode we are playing, and of course, how that goes up against a different game mode, and of course, how you go ahead and eventually win that. Either way, Hardpoint, starting off here, Seymour, this map, it's relatively chaotic when it comes to the middle of the map, because a lot of gunfights are going to go down throughout the middle, and the thing is these rotations, although they can be sporadic and spread across the map at different times, throughout the middle of the map, you're going to need at least 1 to 2 players playing every single time, specifically when you're talking about all the way back over towards point 4, when you're at the train tracks, and you're just kind of laying down on the hill, hoping that the rest of your teammates can go ahead and hop over the top of you. That fire building that we saw there in the cinematic, huge spot. So many gunfights go down in that building. It's kind of ridiculous.
Well, here we are. Michigan State versus Michigan Esports. One for the ages. Sinjat going to open things up with help of Cardiac 2. Go down for Michigan Esports as they're looking to get back in control of things. Blame snaps together 2. 1 around the corner. Cardiac gets the hands. So it's a quick 3 out of Blame, and that's one way to allow your team some control here. Now, let's see if they can turn this into time.
Oh, catch these bullets. A quick 4-0 start here for Blame. Michigan State, though, they had hill control. Now it's going to be 5 in a row. You look for number 6. Oh, dipping, diving, dodging around the corner. You can't find 6 in a row, but you've at least got 1 streak to work with so far if you're Michigan. Now, it all comes down to the next set of rotations. 10 seconds left on the first hill. Unfortunate double challenge up the middle will have Blame fall to his demise without being able to earn full streaks. Michigan State, you're only down by 4 points. But it's a bit of passive play here thus far from the side of Michigan State that I'm a bit worried about.
a bit worried about as well. Blame still 5-1 here, having quite the start. You're watching him for the break. Up top, no Sinjet is on there, is feeding that information. Sinjet's still going to walk away with Decim. Now Blame taking some shots in the back, somehow finessing his life, gets back in to take down Mikey. Now Jet trying to make an escape. Back around the outside. 5 in a row. Can you get that striking run just with one more kill? Well, who else but Blame? Snaps together a few more, swaps to his secondary. He's going to be an 8-1 now to open up this game, and shutting down that strafing run, that could be huge.
This guy's cracked. I'm just going to say it right now. Just watching the beginning here, just sliding, challenging back around the corner, like that was an ego job I've ever seen. Instead of just staying in the hill, yeah, screw it. Why not try to cut off another lane real quick before we go ahead and rotate to the next point? But thus far, one thing I will say, Michigan State, they have gotten out early on the rotations. The problem is, though, of course, as we're seeing again right now, it's just out of Michigan Esports that once they're able to go ahead and wrap over towards the next point, they can break Michigan State out so easily. Destin is there. You're still going to spawn on the back of your Michigan State, but Michigan in towards the middle of the hill. The biggest problem is making sure you clear out every corner.
Memory holding the front line is going to find Mikey. Through the back, though, you see those spawns coming in for Michigan State. COD is now they're down by a whole 56 points inside the hill. Memory now 4 in a row. Can you get that glide bomb? An even bigger arsenal for your teammates. Sinjet for the swing is going to shut that down before it can get a little bit out of hand now. Is Michigan State starting to soak up this time? Still 25 seconds, Corn. There's going to be a big turnaround if Michigan State find the rest of it.
Trying to push in. Gotta look for Decim. Off-screen engagement potentially here. Gives us out of Michigan Esports the last little bit of time. Michigan State will go ahead and reclaim it. So, we'll be looking at about 76 to 50 here. A 26-point advantage for the side of Michigan Esports. What looked like it was a very nice display of slang at the beginning of the game from Michigan. At least it slowed down for some bit of time. Michigan State tries to go ahead and get their way back over towards the next hardpoint in P4. All the way from behind in the back of the spawn, it is going to be Michigan who go ahead, do exactly what they need to. Hold down to the point. Now they got to make sure they don't get broken in from the back. You already spot one. Sin's going to be the first one to fall. Flame Talon will tag along there with Decim to go ahead and make sure 3 don't get to the point. And as Michigan State, once again, is not able to find any sort of time and or break into a hill, Michigan Esports, they're looking up once again.
Looking up indeed. Breezy is going to find the first opening. Now can't transition to the second. 20 seconds into this hill. Michigan State finally finding some semblance of control as Sinjet's going to get his way into that hill. You look at this rotation, it is going to be in towards that broken building through mid where Decim is sitting right now. And this turret is going to hard to dethrone here. He is going to drop, but Michigan State, they have had trouble rotating through. And you look at the differences heading into what soon will be the second set of rotation is Michigan State is really a lot more scrappy than this Michigan Esports team. And you need to start finding some control if they want to flip this lead.
Up the staircase, Blame 2 in a row, grabs the MP40, will slide challenge in towards the point. Rest of the teammates now and the reinforcements are going to be there from the fire building. And the left side of your mini-map, Michigan State are going to make this push forward. Cardiac a kill with the automaton, and we'll find one in way of nades. As the trades continuously come through, the pinstripe kill feed allows Michigan to hold on to the point. This hill is very, very scrappy because of how open it can be and how many angles different teams can go ahead and push from. But at the same time, Michigan has surpassed that triple-digit mark, 112 and continuously climbing. 15 seconds left on the hill. Michigan State looking to rotate. Scrap time going to be in sole possession of Michigan Esports for the time. As Destin pops 2, Lord Memory will find 1 through the front. Breezy the last one there. Michigan once again through the front door have no difficult time in breaking into the next hill.
Now we're putting a lot of focus on the Blame here, 17-7, but look at Lord Memory, 17-9. 2 players firing on all cylinders for Michigan Esports, a reflection on their score as well as even look at the positioning of Lord Memory right now. Playing front line to the rest of these players. He's going to shoot Cardiac in the back, looking for the rest off spawn, but as you can see those white arrows making the rotation through the burning building for that second hill, but everything is locked down right now for Michigan. You got Blame on the back door and Memory on the front door. There's just no escaping Michigan Esports.
Looking to lock down the last 25 seconds of time, and Michigan State just aren't even opting to play for this hill. The biggest problem here is, right, you're not able to catch player number 4 out in Blame, who's just going to bunny hop across the map and get over to the dockside. You don't clear that player out, all of a sudden, you're left with 2 pieces now. Now it's going to potentially even be a third over towards that top portion of the map. And that allows all the reinforcements to get there from Michigan. So with Michigan State, you don't push the scrap time, which is a good thing, but you also don't get the rotation as well. You have one player there, and you got a couple other players who are going to be able to play around that. But you allowed Michigan to get there so much quicker. And look, they're already in within 5 seconds.
Blame around the back. Can't get his gun up in time. Cardiac's going to piece 2. This is a good string of kills now for Michigan State to start turning this into time, but you look at the spawns for Michigan Esports as they will be able to reaggress into the sill from that Boulevard Talon. Opens up the map onto Sinjet. Memory soon to follow in. Looking for that high ground control as you see the push, the collapse forming. Memory from the top ropes finds Cardiac. Trade from Breezy is able to piece together 2. He's keeping Michigan State inside that hill. Still a little bit of a flurry. Back and forth. The contention's going to be here. Sinjet walks in, finds 2. Cardiac for 3. Michigan State, they break back.
186 to 86, a 100-point lead here for the side of Michigan. Michigan State looking to go ahead on maybe a couple of hills they can string together. Blame will just play in a corner inside of the fire room. And you gotta love this if you're Michigan State, because if anybody tries to push either through the middle of the map or like Breezy up the staircase, you're gonna get killed immediately from behind by Blame. Make it 2 there, all of a sudden, rotates out, tries to go for number 3. That would have been absolutely insane. But as Michigan goes ahead and gets to the 200-point mark, it's looking yet again like another runaway hard point for a team here on the Bravo stream. Michigan Esports, Michigan State. It's been a fun game thus far, but it hasn't really been all that close like we might have been able to anticipate beforehand.
No, it's all go blue right now. As Michigan Esports are blowing this out of proportion. Dessem walks in, that's 4 in a row, finds his 5th. The sidearm, it's too deadly right now. Looking to find 6 right around as he is dancing around this. Trying to get into the hill, but denied by Dessem himself. That's 7 in a row. Strafing run, glide bomb. He has it all. And Michigan even closer to putting away this game 1 with style.
Talon, all you got to do is look for these players coming off spawn, trying to find their way over towards the rotational side of P4. 20 seconds is all you need to be able to take map number 1 and put your foot down as the first step in the right direction in the rivalry between Michigan and Michigan State here in the CCL. Memory trying to fly through middle map. Breezy, you're trying to do everything you can to get to the hill, but here comes the glide bomb from over the top. You have players pushing around from the flank side. They're going to spawn all the way back over towards the left, inside of the hill. Nobody really is going to be able to get close. Sin from around the corner will get spotted out. Dessem is there. You fly up the left side. Cardiac, the last one there. You're cut down 250 to 104. Smacked across the mouth and punched down into the ground. Michigan Esports, they'll take a 1-0 lead in the series. Michigan State, you got to be better in the S&D.
An exclamation point to start things up as well. This is the reason why this rivalry has gone blue for the past some odd years. You know, a couple slip-ups, but not here when you transition to Call of Duty. Keeping it one way now, and what a way to open it up indeed. A heavy Berlin, 250 to 104. That's a statement right there, Corin, if I've seen one myself.
Not only a statement win, but more importantly, it just goes to show how good Michigan Esports could potentially be this season. I mean, if that's what a Michigan State team looks comparable to against a team like the likes of Davenport, then, well, I mean, that's already a W if you're a Michigan fan, because, boom, you've already got some, at least something to compare it to in terms of a team that's most likely going to make the playoffs. So there's that. Number 2, the biggest thing that I saw from the slaying department was the fact that we had multiple times throughout the entirety of that game where, guess who, Blame, goes on multiple, and I mean multiple kill streaks. We saw the 7 there at the very end. That was awesome. But 29 kills overall. Unfortunately, it's not the 40 that CJ was able to drop earlier on, but at the same time, you know, it's still 29 kills here on Berlin in a 250 to 104 game. So pat yourself on the back, Blame. Same thing for Dessem. Both of those 2 players, they both dropped 29 and only 4 kills down the road. Hey, guess from memory lane, it's Lord Memory there right along with them. So boom, there you have it. 3 players, all slaying, all working towards a common goal, all with a ton of hill time. This Michigan Esports roster, they look tight-knit. They look like they're a good cohesive unit, and the synergy is already there.
And even Talon, you know, he might have been the lowest scoring player, 12 and 14, negative in fact, but 10 non-traded kills. He was finding some pretty nasty routes for the team and opening up some windows for them to work with those rotations. So not having to do the dirty work, that's what the other 3 are for. Talon keeping his foot in the hill, keeping the time going for that. And yeah, like you said, Michigan State, now you have kind of or well, Michigan Esports, now they have a comparable from another team. But I like that you're talking about Davenport. I like that we did bring up Davenport because it's even more than just Davenport to look at inside this whole division that you're working with here from both Michigan teams. You got the big two to look out for, St. Clair and Northwood. And they went head-to-head on that Alpha stream earlier where Northwood wins it out 3-1, losing that search and destroy. And both of those teams are in the running for top 25, and both of those teams are just nasty to play against. So if you're Michigan Esports, this is a good step in the right direction.
Not only just nasty teams that are in the running for top 25, but I mean, you'd at least assume that coming out of this division, it is going to be both of those teams to make it as three, or two at least of the three teams that will make the top cut. So really, all you're playing for in the other positions inside of this division is to be that third team to make it out into the top cut. And if you're Michigan, well, again, it's not exactly comparable 1-to-1, but you can get at least some sort of decent feeling about where you might stack up against another team just because you played an opponent that they played at a similar pace, a similar style, and beat them at a similar scoreline. Now, map-wise, not 100% sure what maps were played, how they were played, and what different type of force a team like Davenport will get. But at the same time, if you are Michigan right now, you're playing for the top three, obviously, but you're probably just looking to be in there with those other two teams who we know are going to be out of the, or make it into the top cut, and if not make it to the top cut, be damn close.
Damn close indeed. Tuscan Search and Destroy coming up next, and after what we saw on that hard point, I think Tuscan's going to be a little bit tough. You know, a big talking point for this map are the snipers. If we are going to see them come out, who's going to pull it out? Is it going to have value? Well, that's a big question mark to kind of watch out for these teams. We're not notable on the players, so maybe it's something to look out for if they do opt to bring that out. What I do want to talk about are the fact that in that Berlin hardpoint, there was a majority of non-traded kills to every single player on Michigan. And in Search and Destroy, if that's going to be the case, then Michigan State Call of Duty are going to struggle when it comes to the numbers inside the rounds. So if you're Michigan State, maybe you're going to be a little bit favored on a slower game mode, but you're going to need to trade out these kills, something that you were struggling with in Berlin.
All right, here we go. Search and Destroy, Michigan State last time. The statistics we have wasn't great. Was not great. Michigan in map number 1, the blue. It was a blue surge over the green of Michigan State. And unfortunately, I hate to say this, but I feel like it's going to be the same circumstance here in map number 2. You want to give them a chance. And in my mind, they have a chance, but they have to show me themselves that they are going to be able to come out and truly be the team to beat here in the Search and Destroy. 10 seconds off the clock, already over towards the A site. Blue should be able to go ahead and in for a plant. Nobody in middle map just yet. Memory with a bomb on the site. Maybe the noise. It's going to be the ticker. One person to push outside of the church. Finally, you'll get the indication that the bomb is down, but it might just be far too late. The post-plant setup is already there.
Now, how do you retake this one? Not a lot of map control for Michigan State COD. Majority players stuck inside this church. The utility's being dropped, but nobody to answer. Mikey finally finds Lord Memory at the end of that grenade, but you have an idea on the player. Bob Sinjet gets cut down by Desum inside that broken window. Blame to follow up. Now one last alive is Breezy. 14 seconds to make something happen. Is going to find Talon around the back line, but you look at the positioning of these last two Michigan Esports players playing that objective perfectly. Breezy caught in the open. Round 1 to Michigan Esports.
Good team plays. You position yourselves right. You get trades over and over and over again. It's a 2 versus 1 all the way down to the end. Blame comes away with the kill. Just not enough time to go for the defuse. You're just trying to maybe catch one of those players off. Stop the opportunity for streaks. Either way, GG's for round number 1. 1-0 lead to the side of Michigan Esports. Michigan State now on the offensive side. We talk about it time and time again here on Tuscan. The team that has the offensive bomb, you are able to get to that A site just a bit quicker. That's when we'll see smokes and even potentially snipers start to come out to maybe prohibit and halt that push just a bit. We'll see what Michigan State decides to do here as they make their way around. Not a lot of use of utility when it comes to stuns and nades, though, over the top. At least trying to get onto the site for Michigan State.
Another first blood. Cardiac this time to fall. Bomb still struggling to make its way up here, and Lord Memory might have just found the route in the back. Sinjet, you got to be careful. Here's that throw. He's going to collapse. Finds one, snaps to Breezy. His shot's a little bit shaky, and it's going to fumble. There's one pulled back now, but still numbers the way of Michigan Esports. Blame for the follow-up. One last player again. Breezy in a 1v3 makes it to a 1v2, but Soon enough to fall with the numbers disadvantage. Michigan 2 quick rounds from each side, and this is starting to get a little bit deadly early on when it comes to that slaying.
You can try your might all you want in a 1 versus 3. If it happens, awesome. We celebrate it. We love it. It's awesome. It's a moment to remember. It could potentially even be a turning tide in the series. However, when you look at it right now, not really going to do all that much here. And the chances for it early on in this game, the way that Michigan has played against Michigan State, it just doesn't look like it's going to be a feasible thing to go ahead and calculate and or play out. And thus far, 2 rounds, we've had 1v3 opportunities, and it hasn't gone anywhere. Sinjet, first blood, 1 off the board. Talent for this out of Michigan Esports is gone.
Hey.
A
first blood. From
True.
Sinjet.
True. Oh my goodness.
Cardiac, he follows up. Oh, play him in the back line. Leave it to him to pull things back his way, but now caught in the open. Lord knows he's got the memory to back him up. And now 2-on-1 the other way. It's falling apart. Brazy gets overwhelmed. A strong start from Michigan State caught in that round, but Blame finds one small window and Lord Memory opens up the rest.
Oh, was the fact of like, oh my goodness, first blood. 2 first bloods in the round. This is fantastic. Instantaneously, 3 blue kills, and then all of a sudden the last one's dead, and it's 2 alive still. So unfortunate there for Michigan State. Michigan Esports once again extends their lead just a bit further. Tuscan is a map where you can string rounds together. You just hope that on the offensive side, things really start to get kick-started here. And for Michigan State, this is the difference, obviously, between 3-1 and 4-0. You'd rather have the 3-0, but this is the one chance that you have to really be able to make something happen. First blood once again to the side of Michigan State. Breezy on bomb will fall, so you know where that bomb's going to be playing, and Blame finds another kill. That's another double.
Well, Sinjet's going to have the trade once more, but still keeping 1 foot ahead of Michigan State are the Wolverines. Cardiac now caught between both players. Here comes the flank from player number 3. Lord Memory gets the first tag in. 72 HP and a dream to make this happen. The swipe across, but the crossfire is set. The trap is laid, and Michigan Esports 4 rounds in a row. Corn, this is a dominant start to the search and destroy that Michigan Esports were hoping to keep up with.
But here's how you bring this back, right? On offense, obviously you're not there anymore, but I'll just explain offense real quick. On offense, all you need to worry about is making sure that after you find that first blood, you work with the rest of your teammates to get that bomb down, but they didn't send anybody middle map. There was no middle map presence from the side of Michigan State. That's number 1. Get middle map presence. Number 2, don't get picked off by the sniper here on defense by the offensive team that's pushing over towards the site. That's a big one. That's a critical point. But at the same time, starting to push up the map. Oh, you're behind him already. Memory. You've got 1. You've got 2. You look back. I think he might have just spotted Sin out to the left. I don't think he actually knows that Sin was there. Everybody can just start pushing up.
You saw him earlier. He should have known. Sinjet finds the better of him, but now caught in the open. 5 quick rounds to Michigan Esports, and there needed to be communication there.
Sure.
Sinjet saw him. In fact, he even avoided him. And still, Lord Memory walks into church and finds Mikey from behind. So this is something that you need to highlight on this team for Michigan State. They need to have that communication be a little bit more constructive for that, because Mikey should have known Lord Memory was coming in behind, and that would have been an easy 2v1 if they just turned around.
So far, the search and destroy has been quick, has been easy for Michigan, as Michigan State is on the back foot right now. At least it looks pretty in the kill feed, or the stat line. 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row there in terms of kills. That's about the only upside right now. And as Breezy hops into the room, Cardiac, a trade there on the Lord Memory. It's a 2 versus 2. You're looking for your first round. It'd have to be a full sale here from Michigan State. As cool as that would be, Seymour.
Oh, that would be amazing, actually. I'd be there. I'd be for it. But Blame finds Sinjet, and now it's another 2v1, this time Cardiac. And in these situations, Michigan Esports have played them to a T. Look how disconnected player 4 and 1 are at the B site and in the spawn. So the flank is under control while the B site is as well. So what's that going to be? The A site has to be where this plant is going to be coming from. As soon as that happens, Michigan Esports, I expect them to in turn rotate together and take this 2v1 in a pinch. And look at the setup. In fact, you see that player number 4 pushes onto that bomb site. In the open, Cardiac trying to find that first. Blame spots him, swaps the sniper, and he's going to hit that boomstick shot to make that map number 2 their own. Michigan Esports, a 6-0 sweep in the S&D, and another statement here in a big rivalry match.
Another statement, but I love, can I just say, in that round right there, even though it's a 2 versus 1 and it's a round that you should win, I just love the repositioning by Blame with the sniper. Not to just get super aggressive and run in towards the inner cut. Just goes ahead, holds the head glitch, back out around to the left, makes it a longer peeking angle, is able to go ahead and catch the other opponent off guard. It's just it's a little play like that that just completely changes a player's mindset, but more importantly, just shows the subtle nuances that it takes to be incredibly good at search and destroy, but continuously play that at a high level. So plays like that, I love to watch them because they make me, as a former player, very, very happy when I see them, because it means that that person either is smart at what they're doing or either, hey, maybe they just made a good play, they got lucky. But I'd like to go ahead and at least say that it was the former. But stat-wise, 10-2 for Blame, continuously frying here on the side of Michigan Esports. Map 1, drop 40. Here in Map 2, double-digit kills in a search and destroy in 6 rounds. Michigan State, unfortunately, just could not, and I mean could not get anything going, despite First Bloods, despite anything that they tried. It just was not good enough.
And you have to think back to the round where Sinjet found the opening. It was, I'm pretty sure, Cardiac who found the second, and then things just got out of hand as soon as you let that window of opportunity open up for Michigan Esports. So there was a chance to find a round for Michigan State. You just fumbled the bag a little bit. And definitely it is going to be exposed when you're looking at that first blood category. You just see how much Michigan State as a team were opening up the map. That's 1, 4, 1, and 3. That is a total of 9 first bloods on the side of Michigan Esports. And that is just an insane statistic to have if you are this team. And I mean, we talked about CJ in the last series. We talked about Blame in this series. I mean, these are a lot of brand new teams to CCL, and I am glad that these players are turning heads.
Well, another thing, I'm just glad that we have new teams that are appearing every single season inside of the CCL. As the CCL continues to grow, everybody here, everybody at home, all the players, the broadcast, we're growing along with it. And it's awesome to come back every single year, be able to just say, you know what, we've got another product that's on the table. We got another year of great Call of Duty for fans to be able to enjoy, for players to be able to compete through, and just kind of have that moment of refreshing, that refreshing aspect for players who might just be caught up in whatever they're doing, whether it be schoolwork, whether it be anything that they're doing. That stress, they can kind of just take it off to the side for a moment, play the game that they love, play the game that they want to, and although they might not be the most competitive team, although they might not be the best team looking to go ahead and actually win in playoffs, they're just having a good time with some of their friends, whether it be a club team, whether it be something that's sponsored by the school. Either way, it's awesome to see, and that's why College COD is as good as it is, because it's for the community. Everybody loves it.
To the moon. We love CCL here. We love it indeed. But in fact, before we see this map number 3, we are going to head to a quick little break. And when we return, map number 3, hardpoint between Michigan State Call of Duty and Michigan Esports. My name is Seymour. Alongside me is Korn. You're watching CCL, baby. We'll see you in a bit.
Michigan versus Michigan State has been a series. It's been a rivalry, but it has not been close at all. 250 to 106 was map number 1. A 6-0 sweep of the search and destroy. After the fact, Seymour, this one is looking like a GG 3-0 sweep, baby.
You didn't have to say it like that, man. You didn't have to say it. I mean, it hasn't been pretty whatsoever, folks. It has been definitely one-sided. We take a look back at our maps, indeed, just a little bit of a recap for those just tuning in, as it has been a one-sided affair, as per Korn referenced. 250 to 104, Berlin hardpoint. 6-0 Tuscan sweep. We're headed back to Tuscan for this map number 3, what would normally be a swing map, but right now it has to be Michigan State Avenue back into the series for a possible reverse sweep of the ages over the rival school of University of Michigan. I mean, Korn, you know, we look at players like Blame, Decim on Michigan Esports to not make that possible. Michigan State COD, I mean, they've been struggling just keeping up with the slaying factor, and it has been opening up so much opportunity to just make the scoreline what it has ended at.
Yeah, and I mean, realistically speaking, Michigan State, sure, you still have the opportunity to come back in the series. You have a Tuscan hardpoint ready and waiting in front of you. The biggest thing and the biggest issue that has been had so far is team plays and team pushes. Search and Destroy was the highlight of that for me specifically. It was multiple times where they might get a first blood, or they would have a site cleared out. They were able to get the bomb down, or just in short, I go back to the round where they had 4 up and there was 2 down on the side of Michigan that they had right at the rip at the beginning of the round. And instead of being able to play for the trades, it was multiple singular pushes from the side of Michigan State that caught people and players off guard. All of a sudden, it was a 2 versus 2. It was literally a 2-piece that ended up happening, and then all of a sudden, everybody was cut down to the ground. And then Michigan took what was a 2 versus 4 and made it a 2-0 stand where they just killed all 4 players from Michigan State. So S&D wasn't close. First hardpoint wasn't close, but that doesn't mean that Michigan State is out of the series just yet. That's just the framework for what we've seen so far. Now, if you're Michigan State, obviously you don't want to go down 0-2 to start your entire season off because that would suck. But if you're Michigan, you want to take this rivalry. You really want to send the message to Michigan State that you're here to play, but more importantly, to the rest of the league that you're here to play. Because a 3-0 win to start things off would not only be great, but a 1-0 lead and to be able to beat Michigan State like the likes of Davenport did earlier, at least bodes well for a potential top 3 bid going forward to get to the top cut.
And it sets up storylines for the division. You know, we know St. Clair's there. We know Northwood's there. Who will be that third team to make it to the top cut? I mean, there's plenty of candidates, and Michigan Esports have definitely thrown their hat into the ring to be one of them right here. Now, like you say, you know, definitely not out of it. Michigan State COD. If they do bring this one back, it will be a comeback that I'm sure a lot of people are not ready for. In fact, Michigan State will be the first ones to the hill. Mikey opens up with first blood, but here come the Wolverines to set up a break.
Well, Michigan, they expected Michigan State to run down the middle of the map. Instead, they realized that they had the entire middle lane cleared out, and that leads to an instantaneous 4 down. Blaine 2, Talon 2, Decim 1. 5 kills off the board quickly for Michigan State, and just as it was that they were able to get into the middle map and inside of the hill, Michigan Esports, well, they did what they did best inside of Berlin in map number 1, and they broke the side of Michigan State early and often.
And now they flip the lead their way, looking to flip the spawns in the same manner. A lot of blue here. Player number 7, Memory. We're going to push into that church. He's going to find Sinjet. Quick trade from Mikey. Cardiac on the opposite. And Talon with the Rad is going to take that gunfight, not the Automaton. He's going to just get the stun check in the back. Breezy actually going to avoid it. Still unknown whether this player's going to come here, but Talon ready as ever. It's 3 down now. Sinjet for the late nade, but damage has been done, and Michigan now on the rotation. They are looking perfect.
Decim, 4 in a row. Blame 4 in a row. In the back of the spawn, you're going to be able to get 2 tacked on to the 4, make it 6, and that's 2 streaks to use later on inside of the game. Big in number 7. Anybody else going to dare push to the back of the spawn where Decim is pre-aiming? Well, yeah, at least hope not for the sake of the Michigan State roster, but as we see now, the rotation over towards the next hill has to come through from Michigan State. You want to rotate across this map as quickly as possible because you need to get all the way over to the left side of the map where that little circle is there, where player number 3 currently is. That's where the hard point's going to be. Now, this is very similar to what we saw on Seaside from Black Ops 4, where you had it all the way pushed to one side of the map, and inside the back spawn is where you're going to be playing from. This map is very fun to watch, but at the same time, it can be daunting to be able to break hills and fly across.
Nadessim 8-0, Blame was 7-0. The combined 14-0 from 2 separate players, and just there a little bit of CCL history, folks. This player, Mr. J Pistachio, the only player to ever drop a nuke in the CCL. The way these 2 players are shooting, I mean, there's some potential that we can see it here. I mean, like, it's definitely super far-fetched, but that's a little bit of history for you that definitely Decim and Blame have been shooting on pace to make happen. Already investing the streaks as well. Decim is going to be there, but I think I was wrong. I don't think Pistachio is the only one.
You know, at least from recent memory, and I thank you for bringing a little bit of nut lore to the stream. I appreciate that. Talon in the back. Sinjet looking for the push. Pistol isn't going to be enough. So a nice little double from Sinjet. Allows Michigan State to secure that scrap time back over towards P3. P4 inside of the church. Michigan State. They're going to be the first team there. It's going to be a 2-2 split from each team. Singular, double pushes, it doesn't matter. who will be able to hold down the church is the real question. Michigan State, the answer, at least for the first 10 seconds, is themselves.
A little bit of lore from the greatest to ever do it in CCL. 90 to 45. The Wolverines are taking off here. Destin
like
still
that,
with
huh?
those full streaks. I do. You know what? But he earned it. He earned it. 12 and 2 though on the inside.
He earned the nut, lore.
You can. Look for the breaker. The Spartans. Here comes Breezy. Through the door. Talon finds him with the pistol. 4 down immediately. Not even allowing a foot on that point. The Wolverines now 115 to 45. This is starting to look a lot like that Berlin.
Just now? Oh boy. Michigan Esports. Not only have they stormed the field here, Seymour, not only have they made these games look like slight work, but at 14 and 2 from Decim, 14 and 4 from Blame, if you remember back to map number 1, they did quite literally the exact same thing. Hey, there's a 4 down though for Michigan State. 40 seconds left in this hill. Tons of time to gather from here. One good hold, you're back in this game.
One good hold would definitely be the recipe to success for this Michigan State team, but it just hasn't been coming through because the kills have been too one-sided. As you see, Lord and Blame both find a combined 4 to make it happen. A little bit of team kill, and Sid Jet's going to capitalize off that, finding Talon. That's an opening as well. His last 15 seconds could be a little bit of a scrappy fight coming from that doorstep in the staircase. As Sid Jet walks in, is going to find Blame, but it's just not enough. The reinforcements come in. Michigan Esports are going to find that scrap time, and now you're looking at this rotation, and this is where the streaks are going to come in.
First one from above. Blame on to Breezy. Interesting use of the streak there, though, and here's why. What ends up happening is, yeah, you use that first streak, pepper the player off of the hill, and sure, you weaken up the resistance that you're going to get when you push towards the hill, but that's when you push towards the hill. There was nobody from Michigan that was even close to the point of being able to get on it, so you actually have to use 2 different glide bombs to just get onto the point for the first time, because everybody was back at the respawn block when you invested that first streak.
Well, it's still coming through. As Michigan Esports, his Blame around the backside is going to find a Cardiac. Recognizing that the players off spawn are going to be reinforcing Church. Another one, Sinjet, going to be shot in behind. Cardiac for the trade, but a little late to the call as these last 14 seconds are going to be picked up from Michigan Esports. And Memory's fishing for this rotation as well. Breezy not ready for it. Caught, back turn, pants down, head popped.
What a sequence of events that would be. Or call me if you're feeling frisky. 181, 76. Over a 100-point lead right now for the side of Michigan. Cardiac in the back. Breezy will tag for a couple. You still push up halfway through the map. You're just trying to break that triple-digit mark. To at least give yourself a little bit of a pick-me-up here. Late in towards the game. But does Michigan break yet again? Mikey around the corner, 2 HP to survive with. 1 bullet will be enough to get the kill. Blame comes around the corner. Blame looks for the second. Will do just that. Looks for the third. Breezy. That was wise to back off back into the church. Might want to say a prayer before you peek back out.
Breezy and Mikey scrapped together too now. Deep throning Michigan Esports from what was that hill. The remainder of that time, Kush could push them closer to triple digits, but you're looking at Sinjet now on the rotation. 2 Fountain looking to play. Cut off the Talon here is going to confirm that kill. Not ready for the second one. Decim going to hunt him down and on hill inside the Fountain. Look at player number 1, Mikey, coming around the corner. Decim might be able to reinforce this player from the long range with this automaton, and he is set up for success. You don't want to peek him right now.
All the way in the back. Peekaboo. Guess who? Breezy, you want to try your hand? I thought not. Once again, we'll back off. Just for the time. Decim spots out Mikey, waiting for the reinforcements to come through. Actually, a really nice play there from Breezy to wait for the rest of the team to push up the map. Unfortunately, won't be able to break onto the point just yet. Michigan having to play further and further back. Not able to get onto the point just yet, but with 25 seconds left, they'll get their first opportunity to really touch the point and soak up the time. Last bit of scrap time will go their way. 20 seconds will be added. It'll be 2:25 to about 82. They soak up the rest of the time, and I believe they will.
I believe they will indeed. Decim finds Mikey here. Even closer to this 3-0 victory. Our Michigan. Decim now looking for that 30 bomb at the end of it. Mikey trades him out. Still a few steps away from getting there, but just to highlight these players, I mean, Blame 26-12, Decim 28-9, making names inside the CCL for their debut. Whereas Michigan State, God, have just fallen short to this rivalry school again and again. In for the break, Decim around the corner. That's his 29th. Peeking out the door, Cardiac able to shut him down and, in fact, allow for a re-break from Michigan State.
100-mark point crossed, so no 100-point club to speak of when it comes to the lore between these teams. And both of the hard points, at least Michigan State was able to go ahead and eclipse the triple-digit point. Callan looks to the back of the spawn, 4 down for the side of the blue. Michigan State trying to go ahead, wrap their way back to the point. 10 seconds left for the Wolverines to be able to not only take this series against Michigan State, but have bragging rights over their rival school yet again. Streak comes to the top, 5 seconds left. They asked the question beforehand, man versus nature, Wolverines versus Spartans. It's going to be the beast every single time. The Wolverines, a 3-0 sweep over the Spartans.
Hail to the mighty. Michigan do it again. The University of Michigan have just been absolutely lights out in their debut for the College COD League. As you get a little bit of a gist of Blame at the end there. We'll get back to the stats later, but I mean, to talk about what we just saw is nothing short than an exclamation point from the University of Michigan. The Wolverines, they come in hungry to beat their rival, and they're eating tonight.
Feasting upon the flesh of a dead and desolated soul. But as we look back to the stats real quick, we can just go ahead and take a gander. Blame didn't top frag inside of the hard point this time. No, it was Decim who comes out on top, 33-11, triple positive for the side of Michigan State. You look to the untraded kills, 29 on Decim, 23 on Blame. Same can't be said about the side of Michigan. They do a great job of being able to find the traded kills onto the side of Michigan State. And as you look just across the rest of the statistics, this one was not close in slaying, it wasn't close in hill time, and of course, it wasn't close in overall score. This is not to go ahead and degrade Michigan State. They played a decent series. Michigan just looked like a very good team. And for a debut for Michigan Esports, we've seen back-to-back good debuts here on the Bravo stream, but some might even call them great.
Some might even call them outrageous when you're looking at Decim, the numbers he's putting up in the average damage per hill, and CJ back on Western. I mean, CJ on Bocage with, 430 average damage per hill. And Decim putting up 379 and a 250 to 107. I mean, those are two very different series, as well as that Bocage with 250 to 202 for Western's win. So a lot of damage in a lot less time for Decim. To put up those numbers is just unheard of for a lot of these players, especially when you're being kind of thrown into the deep end, into the limelight of a stream as well. For your debut in the CCL, it was sink or swim for Michigan Esports, and they're swimming, they're feasting, like you say. They had a big duty to kind of cement themselves as a team in this division to be competitive, and it just makes me even more excited for what we're going to see as this team evolves over the season of 2022 College COD League.
Well, we'll take a look at the maps one more time real quick. We saw map number 1, 250 to 104 was a score for the side of Michigan Esports. It was a clean, quick 6-0 in the search and destroy. And of course, as we went to map number 3 in the hard point to complete the sweep, 250 to 107. So, with that being said, as Michigan Esports, unfortunately, or rather Michigan State Esports will unfortunately fall to the hands of the Michigan Wolverines, that is going to do it for that series. But that doesn't mean we're done just yet overall. Here on the Bravo stream, we've got one more match to go. On the Alpha stream, we also have another match to go. There's also a match currently going on between Penn State and Concord, which, if you don't know those two teams, that's a great series on hand to start the year off. I couldn't ask for a better match, at least for the second slot on the Alpha stream today. So that's still going on right now. Next here on the Bravo stream, GVSU Esports going up against U Windsor Gold. That will be another best-of-5 series to end the night off. We are going to be doing a caster swap, though, but it's only going to be me. Seymour sticking around, Mick's coming on through, so as we go ahead and kick things to a quick break, we'll be back here for the CCL Season 4 Kickoff Classic.